welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. My guest this evening is First Select Woman of the town of Portland, Susan Bransfield. Susan, welcome. How are you?
Great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for coming down. So, how long have you been First Selectman in the town of Portland?
Well, I've been First Select Woman since 2003.
Okay.
So it's about 12 and a half years.
All right. You like it?
I love it. I love it. It's a great job, and I'm honored to have it.
Now, how many people are in Portland, and what's your demographics?
Between 9,300 and 9,500 people. We're under 10,000.
Okay.
And it's been that way now pretty much since I became First Selectman.
All right. And what did you do before you became First Selectman?
Before I was elected, I was an employee with the state of Connecticut.
Okay.
I worked for the child nutrition programs and did a lot of reviews as an education service specialist for the Department of Education. And I enjoyed it very much.
I was going to say, did you like it?
I did.
Excellent.
Yeah, I did.
Excellent. So what makes the town of Portland so special?
Well, number one, it's the people who live there.
Right.
In fact, recently, on Friday, this past Friday, there was a wonderful car show. It was a car show dedicated to a fella who had passed away prematurely. And his name is David Bordenaro. Okay. And it was a memorial to him. And we were all commenting on Saturday and Sunday how wonderful the car show was. It was a real example of community in our town. When there's a cause or there's a need and people pull together, it's a wonderful town. It was sponsored by St. Mary's Church, and people from all over the county were there, and it was just a wonderful remembrance of a wonderful man who used to live in Portland, and we had a great time. So people are number one.
There you go. Now, as far as, and I know and we were talking about this before we started taping here tonight, as far as the town goes, budgetarily wise, how are we doing?
Yep. There's always a challenge in terms of meeting all the needs that a community has, and trying to make sure you have enough money to pay for it. Fortunately, we've been able to pass our budgets on the first referendum. We go to referendum for the last many, many years. So it's a community that recognizes the needs to pay for things and recognizes that the services that are provided are things that we do want to have.
And obviously, because of the mild winter that we had last year,
Yes.
I guess that was a good thing as well.
Yes, it helped tremendously. And we also have very good schools in Portland. We're very proud of our schools. We have 2 blue ribbon schools in Portland, which are nationally recognized. So we're very pleased that Portland Middle School and Portland Brownstone Intermediate School are both blue ribbon schools. And they're just wonderful places for young people to learn.
Now, what exactly is a blue ribbon school?
A blue ribbon school is a designation by the Federal Department of Education. And it meets not only academic standards, but also community standards. And it meets an awful lot of the rules and regulations and all of the various great things that education is about. It's a very competitive designation, and Portland is very fortunate to have 2 that have been designated as blue ribbon schools.
And is that a yearly process for designation?
It is. Yep. So I'm sure if your listeners and viewers wanted to find out more about it, the Federal Department of Education, Arnie Duncan, I believe, is the person in charge, and he's recognized Portland now twice. So we're proud of that.
All right. And from what I understand by doing some homework, we also have the 175th anniversary of the town of Portland.
You're right. You must have been visiting our website.
I was doing homework the other day.
All right. Yeah, we're very proud. In 1841, Portland was chartered by the state of Connecticut to be its own independent town. And in 2016, we're now 175 years old.
Excellent.
There's lots of wonderful activities that we have planned. We've already had some, and we're going to be having many more. We're going to have a wonderful parade on September 10th. And it will involve, we're planning this. There is an old artifact from the days of quarrying. Portland is very well known for its brownstone quarries. And there's an artifact that's a very large piece of equipment that used to be used, and it was drawn by oxen. And we are going to get 6 oxen in the parade, and they are going to be attached to this long, it's a long arch with these huge wheels.
Okay.
And they're going to pull some brownstone at the start of the parade, and we're just really thrilled to be able to kind of go back a little bit in time, and yet exemplify and show all the wonderful things in the rest of the parade about what's going on now. So September 10th.
I was going to say, what else is, and obviously the Portland 175th is a year-round event.
It's a year activity.
Okay.
And one of the things that I brought tonight to show you
that's right.
is the Portland, Connecticut anniversary book.
Okay.
This is a commemorative book.
All right.
I really must say it's very well done.
All right.
And it is done by the Portland Historical Society.
Aha.
And it's all about the history of Portland, as
Excellent.
well as some ads. You know, when people remember their hometown, they always want to go back to it or remember it. And there's a lot of fun ads in here that were taken out by people that maybe don't live in Portland anymore, but remember it with a heartfelt love.
Right.
And they really want to be remembered. So they're in this book. And tonight, Pete, I brought you a
thank you.
complimentary copy.
Thank
and
you.
I hope that you enjoy reading it and
Definitely.
sharing it with others.
Definitely. I'll definitely have to take a look at this later.
Very good.
Thank you. Now, as far as, I guess you guys got a grant for $750,000?
That's right. That's right.
And can we maybe talk about the grant and exactly what the $750,000 went to?
Sure. Well, Portland has a fairly good-sized industrialized area, and the $750,000 is to clean up what is referred to as a brownfield.
Okay.
And a brownfield, as you know, is an area that's been industrialized and contaminated by that industrialization. And in this case, it's an old oil tank farm.
Really?
If you ever go along Route 9 or you're on the Connecticut River, you can see these large tanks. They're large blue tanks that are along the Connecticut River. Over the years, they've served us well. Right now, they're empty. They did have some spills over the years, and there's some other contaminants in some of the buildings located there. So again, a competitive grant that we were successful in obtaining will allow us to clean that up and be able to then go out for requests for proposals. And we hope to have a restaurant there and perhaps some other commercial opportunities and bring some new life to that area along the Connecticut River. What we have to do is we have to purchase the land from the owners.
Okay.
It's in the estate of Mr. John Belletti, and we feel confident that we will be able to do that and then access the $750,000 to take down the tanks, clean up the soils, and also take down some old buildings that aren't needed there anymore. They're across from the Brownstone Exploration and Discovery Park.
Sure.
You're probably familiar with that. It's an outdoor recreation park. It's run by Sean Hayes and company. And what they do is they make a lot of people happy. A lot of particularly young people, younger than I, enjoy going there, and they jump off cliffs, they come down slides, they go on zip lines, there's wakeboarding and rock climbing and lots of other very physical activities. And across the street from Brownstone Exploration Discovery Park are these tanks. And if we're able to clean them up, it's going to be a win-win for everybody.
Now, how long do you think it's going to go through, and how long do you think it's going to take?
The cleanup would be probably 2 to 3 years. It would involve the time that would be necessary when the Brownstone Exploration and Discovery Park is not in operation. They wouldn't be able to be doing some of the work that they'll be doing when that business is in operation. So that means while it's a full year, it's not a full year of work site availability.
Just because
that's right.
They probably don't want to be working when the exploration center is open for the season, because that would not be good for business.
Wouldn't be very cool. No, it wouldn't
definitely.
We get over 90,000 visitors to Brownstone Exploration Discovery Park every year.
Really?
Yeah, and the quarries are geological formation. They're beautiful, and they're also lots of fun. And they're owned by the town of Portland. And the owners of Brownstone Park give us a percentage of the gate every year. And since they opened and started paying in 2006, they've given to the town for its use nearly $2 million.
Right. Now, how about the history of the town of Portland?
It is a quarrying town.
Okay.
It got established and started even before 1841. As people came down and up the Connecticut River, they saw these huge cliffs of brownstone and determined that they would make a wonderful building stone, a building material. So over the course of many decades, until about the 1930s, brownstone was quarried, and it went down to New York City and up to Boston and New Haven, all kinds of places. And the way they got there was from ships that were built in Portland. So the very beginnings of Portland were shipbuilding, quarrying, and of course agriculture. And we're a big tobacco farming region. There was a lot of tobacco, shade tobacco, that was grown for many years. Doesn't happen so much anymore, but we still have a fair amount of agriculture in Portland and have some wonderful farms that grow corn and strawberries and lettuce and lots of other wonderful things.
Really? I didn't know you guys ever had an agricultural background.
Well, it's a rich, fertile soil because of the Connecticut River. And the flooding that occurs, as you know, make the soil so fertile. So we have a proud history of quarrying, shipbuilding, farming, and lots of other things.
I didn't know. I did not know that the town of Portland actually was involved with the shipbuilding process either.
The Gildersleeve section of Portland, where Petzold's Marine is now, is where the old shipbuilding area was. And I also must say, in the more modern times, automobiles are big in Portland for repair, for purchase. And Wayne Carini, who has a show, Chasing Classic Cars. I know that name, yes. Yeah, maybe you've seen his show. It's a great show. He lives in Portland, and he produces his show quite a bit in the town of Portland, where he lives and really enjoys Chasing Classic Cars.
I was going to say, I've heard of the show, I've seen the show, and it's actually very, very cool.
It is. It's quite fascinating, and he's a wonderful storyteller about the history of cars and the ability to go all over the world and find those cars for others that are looking for them.
Very nice. Yeah. Would you mind sticking around for another segment?
I'd love to.
We'll be right back after a short break.
Okay.
Every day, the people in our community rally in support of United Way as we strive together to make a big impact to change lives in Middlesex County. From our main streets to our institutions, from our neighborhoods to our town halls and our classrooms, we're working with our partners to create a stronger community. It's an inspiring effort, and we invite you to join us. Volunteer, donate, live united.
Looking for Connecticut's best ride? You'll find it at the Closer to Free Ride. On September 10th, ride an inspiring 10, 25, 62.5, or 100 miles. Every dollar you raise supports research and care at Smilow Cancer Hospital at Yale, New Haven. This is your ride. Register today at rideclosertofree.org and help bring our world closer to free.
And welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. Sitting here with Susan Bransfield, the first select woman of the town of Portland. Susan, welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thanks for coming down. So I was wondering, let's start this segment off. I guess let's talk about the Airline Trail.
Sure.
What is it?
Airline Trail in our area, which is Eastern Connecticut, is a wonderful hiking, biking, and actually horseback riding as well area in Eastern Connecticut. Airline Trail is referred to the railroad that used to run from New York to Boston, and the quickest way to go by air would have been through Eastern Connecticut. And it was abandoned many decades ago. And what the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection has done in many areas is they have converted the former railroad bed to these hiking trails. And for many, many years, Portland was not participating because we don't own the trail, where the railroad used to be. It is privately owned, and a major portion of it is owned by Eversource Energy.
Yes.
So we have a very active group of citizens on the Airline Trail group, and they decided that they would work with my office and our planning office and put together an application to get some money to fix the trail, and also petition Eversource to forge an agreement with the town of Portland. So we have a license to use the trail, and we were awarded a $650,000 grant from the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection to fix it so that any of the divots and any of the areas that needed to be filled in with a nice stone dust could be done. So I just got the paperwork recently. We were awarded, after we signed the license agreement, we were awarded the grant. And we're going to be getting busy very soon on the engineering and the plans to now connect Portland in the area of Job's Pond. If anyone's familiar with Job's Pond, it's off of Route 66 going east toward East Hampton. The trail will be about 2.7 miles, and it will go from that area east and meet up with the Airline Trail in East Hampton. East Hampton also received a generous grant to connect from the Portland border, or the town line, I should say, to connect then to their village center and then go east into Marlborough and Hebron. I've used the trail quite a bit in East Hampton, and it's really a wonderful outdoor adventure for all ages. It's handicapped accessible, as well as just a fun, free, and healthy way to enjoy the outdoors.
Very nice. And you said you got the paperwork for the grant, so what's the next step in the process?
I bring it to the Board of Selectmen, and they officially will accept the grant monies, and then we'll proceed to put out the proposal to get a firm to come in and help us get this done. And we have lots and lots of volunteers. We have two really dynamic individuals that are part of the Airline Trail. They're the two co-chairmen. They would be fun if you ever are looking for somebody to have on your show. Riz and Lou, they do a fantastic job of trying to engage others and do something fun. You know, we see so many things in our world today that isn't so fun.
No.
And to be able to do positive for your community and to be able to give back as well as produce something that everybody can use in all ages, and that's what the Airline Trail is. I'm really proud of this group for the work that they've done.
Now, as far as the Airline Trail project goes, after you get the grant and do all the paperwork, how long, start to finish, how long is it going to take?
That would probably take a year or so, and plus, again, it's weather dependent.
Yeah.
But we hope that we would be able to do it pretty quickly, and hopefully everything will go smoothly.
And hopefully that's going to come to fruition and
very soon.
Exactly.
Very soon.
Exactly.
I'll have to let you know when we're able to put that first shovel of soil.
I was going to say, please let me know, and we can definitely do something.
Sounds good.
Now, let's talk about the redevelopment of Elmcrest.
Yes, that's a project that has been going on for quite a while in our town. It's about a 14-acre site, all told, right in the center of town. It used to be a wonderful psychiatric or health facility, and over the years it has closed. And in 2008, they officially closed. They had been leasing land to another facility, and they closed in 2008. 2009, they had this marvelous plan for 150,000 square feet of retail and about 80 units of housing for a mixed-use development on that site. More recently, the owner has announced that that particular project would not be going forward. The economy really tanked in 2008, 2009, and they were not able to bring that to fruition.
No.
And now it appears that they have a new developer. He's interested in more apartments and less retail, in sort of it's still a mixed-use development. There's been some pluses and minuses with that. I would say a plus certainly is a commitment by the developer to improve and renovate up to at least 2, and not, if maybe 3, historic homes that are on that property. Yeah, there's some very historic homes. They're on the National Historic Register.
Okay.
And we look forward to working with the developer as time goes on. But I can tell you, Pete, there's many steps still to go with that redevelopment. But it's important for our community to have some redevelopment there. It'll help our grand list. We started talking a little bit about the budget.
The budget, right.
Towns have to continually look at improving and redeveloping areas that will bring back more revenue to our community. So we look forward to working on that project. It's nowhere near completed, and there's many things that we'll be working on.
I was going to say, you just mentioned your grand list and your tax base, and how are things going as far as your grand list for the town of Portland?
Well, we're going to find out after October 1st.
All
We're
right.
doing our statistical revaluation this year,
okay.
which is when towns are mandated to look at all of their properties and see if their value is the same as it is. Has it gone down? Has it gone up?
Right.
So we'll know probably, it will be done probably December, January time.
Right.
And we'll have an understanding of how our grand list is doing. The state of Connecticut presents an awful lot of problems to us, and not the least of which are fiscal issues.
Right.
Which I don't think we have time to go into all of those. But it is important for towns to be sure they're looking at all ways that they can improve their grand list and also improve the livability and the quality of life that they present for their residents.
Now, as far as, and I realized just by doing research with what's going on in the state of Connecticut,
Sure.
and how did that, the budget and everything, how does that affect the town of Portland?
Yeah, probably the most significant effect is the inability to know that the monies are going to be coming, the stability, the predictability.
Right.
We're in an era of unpredictability.
Yes.
And it's something that makes running a town very difficult.
Yeah.
We have weathered the challenges fairly well. We tend to be very conservative in our budgeting and very careful about how we spend money. Last year we finished with a surplus, and I anticipate this year we have as well. The year ended just June 30.
Right, yeah.
So we're hopeful that we will be able to announce that probably in the fall. We're undergoing our annual audit right now. There's a lot to running a town.
Of course there is.
And certainly accountability is paramount, and it's something I take very seriously.
Exactly. And if someone was walking around the town of Portland and said to you, Susan, I want to move, I'm looking to move, and I'm considering the town of Portland, and why would you, if I said to you, why should I consider your town, what would you tell me?
Well, as we talked a little while ago, it's a wonderful community of individuals and groups. It's also a wonderful place if you play golf. There's 3 golf courses in Portland.
That's right.
All very well known
That's right.
and
Okay.
well loved. There's the Brownstone Exploration Discovery Park.
Yeah.
There's wonderful schools. We have a grocery store, Tri-Town Foods.
Yeah, sure.
We also have a wonderful Main Street and lots of shops, a wonderful gift shop, Victorian Inspirations, that I really enjoy going to. Great places to eat, Sarah's on Main. We have Lily's, a wonderful place to eat, Portland Restaurant, Tommy's, Farrell's, Campagna. There's wonderful places, but it's more that sense of community and the ability of anybody, if you're there for a little while, to really not only know your neighbors, but to know the people in the library, know the people who are our police officers, know our volunteers that provide emergency medical services, and our great fire department. It's a community, number one. And I think that is what most people enjoy about living in Portland.
Exactly. We have a little bit more time before we say goodnight. So before we say goodnight, let's talk about let's talk about the 175th anniversary
Sure.
of the town of Portland again.
Sure. There's going to be some tours of the town. In August, there's a tour. It's a bus tour that you can take, and it will point out all of the historic areas in our town. There's also going to be opportunity to come to our parade that I mentioned earlier.
Right.
And also there's some wonderful concerts that are happening in honor of the 175th anniversary.
Okay.
The first one is going to be July 19th,
Yep.
and Michael Cleary Band will be there. And then on the 26th, we have the Great Hill Mountain Band will be there. And then I believe it's August 2nd will be the E2, which is an Eagle tribute band.
Very nice.
And then that following Tuesday is another band, and I think I wrote it down because I wanted to be sure to tell your listeners, Juicebox.
Aha.
And it's a band that is designed for younger folks, children, and it should be a lot of fun for families as well as those who always think young.
Aha, very nice, very nice. So if people want more information on the town of Portland, where can they go?
Oh, they can always come to my office.
All right.
And they can also go to our website,
All right.
which is www.portlandct.org.
Okay.
It's a wonderful website. It's actually designed and run by Town Tech, which is a
Nice.
student,
Nice.
student and town employee endeavor, and I think they do a fabulous job.
Exactly. Well, Susan Bransfield from the town of Portland, I want to thank you for coming down, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
I look forward to it, Pete.
All
This was a
right.
lot of fun
It
speaking
was.
with you. Thanks
Thank you.
for having me.
Thank you. On behalf of Susan Bransfield, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks. Good night, and we'll see you next week.